kit versus a spawn Panzerfaust class, it affects the game balance a lot when you have more infantry. Because the tanks, it affects then the ratio of anti-tank weapons too, because the number of tanks doesn't change really.
Okay, I got it streaming. I got it streaming again for you guys.
Okay, I'll post that too then. Sure.
Yeah, I'm just gonna let it stream. I'll be doing other things.
Okay.
I'll check now and then to see if the map changes, and if people stay, I'll stream it again.
Okay, I'll post the link too. Yeah, nice to have a nice. I'll post the link.
Okay, good games today, guys, and I'll be on tomorrow.
Definitely. See you, Kenny. Thanks for
See you guys. Have a good one.
Sure.
Yeah, infantry anti-tank weapons really change the balance a lot.
Yeah.
Like on Ramal, where they had to make the spawn of the bazooka class have only 2 rounds, so it doesn't get too unbalanced.
Yeah, well, that's a great example, and whoever made that had a good insight, I think, into how that would affect the balance between tanks and infantry, and that is one of the things that makes that map interesting too. Is it's got a delicate balance, definitely a delicate balance between tanks, and then a lot of people don't like the tank versus infantry combat. They like pure infantry. But I think that's highlights of Forgotten Hope, honestly, is all the that interplay between the tanks and the infantry.
Tanks are really powerful, but they are defeatable. That's the great thing. They are defeatable with the right weapons and with the right tactics, or when the tank makes a mistake.
Yeah, it's fun exploiting the vulnerability. It's a challenge, and not everybody wants a challenge. It's like, a lot of the games they've gotten more and more. They get very, very symmetrical, and they get things that are unfair in their own way. But I guess, like you get upgraded weapons or whatever in Battlefield 2, and it's kind of like, well, but it doesn't bother people, I guess, in the same way as when there's just like a tank there. But then you have the tanks get bombed by aircraft. I mean, it's kind of like it gets people, they follow it along. I remember people would complain about submachine guns, and they'd be like, well, we should take those out. And they really did do that on Pavlov's house. So, I don't know what point what is an acceptable form of combat. You take away all the weapons away, just let the players wander around the map without killing anybody. So it's really, there's no threatening. Should we move anything dangerous from the map? I guess that would be the logical conclusion. I've heard people propose a nice map, but they should really take the next step and have no weapons whatsoever.
Wasn't there a map where you could hit somebody over the head with the butt of your rifle?
Well, not that I know of in FH, but I know in other games they have that. Yeah, and Day of Defeat for Half-Life, that was one of the early World War II mods, that you could do a right-click on the terrain to hit Call of Duty. I don't know. Together. There was definitely a game, though, where you could rifle at people when you were close. Yep. Yeah, that would be. I mean, like I said, FH, it was an exciting time for where they were adding features to the game, and they did a nice job expanding it. I mean, I think to really appreciate FH, you've got to go back and play some Vanilla 2 to realize just how far they moved. Well, even Battlefield, I don't think people like. It's hard to appreciate Battlefield. What a revelation it was if you had been trying to play Doom. Half-Life. It was just such a different. Yeah, I remember it was such a different experience. In a way, it's weird though. People have, I guess, gravitated back to first-person shooters are definitely very exciting, like the Doom. Okay. They gravitated back almost to the Quake and Doom type experience so much. It's definitely a lot of action to be had, but I don't know. It's nice to have other types of gameplay. I mean, people with flight simulators, tank simulators. It was really nice in the Battlefield engine.
Yeah, it's not a simulator, but it covers all aspects and in a way that's playable.
Yeah, exactly. And it captures too some of like, obviously it's not a realistic thing the way that aircraft and tanks are, but it captures some of the essence where aircraft were vulnerable to attacks by aircraft, and so were infantry. Tanks were vulnerable to, for instance, infantry dropping Molotov cocktails from windows, and aircraft were vulnerable to flak. Yeah, the scale is off that aspect of it, but they've captured sort of an interplay that was there in a very fun way. Yeah. Yeah, it's a neat game. I think one of the things too I really like for Forgotten Hope is the amphibious invasions, because some maps do have tanks and aircraft, but they don't have having like the full size landing ship and the sea battle with it combined with landing is really a nice.
Oh yes.
Yeah. No, I haven't seen any game that even touches that at all. It's unbelievable. Because there's some sea battle games, but they don't have infantry landing and tank ships being shot at by, it's a really that really is nice.
Yeah. Map or even the same game as ships is really difficult to balance.
Yeah.
Yes, the balance of power is way off.
Yep. I mean, even having tanks and ships in one map. It's just so much overkill. Yeah, they did a nice job. I know when they started to make the tanks more realistic, having stuff was really helped balance out FH a lot too, because you could, and I mean quite fairly so. I mean, tanks were vulnerable to explosives in the war, so it made sense. Maybe not quite the way they have it, but it's hard to model all the. It's definitely hard to model all the anti-tank weapons. There's just so many of them. Like,
and
I mean,
a really realistic damage model just wasn't even possible back then. At least not in a game that has so many aspects.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Yeah, it got. I mean, people wanted to. They made some steps in that direction. Like, I mean, they added the anti-tank rifles, PTRS, PTRD, the boys' rifle. They never got to the German anti-tank rifles, like the Hinderbusch or whatever, 39 and whatnot. But they made some progress in that direction.
Yeah,
but
tanks have weak spots, so yes, the damage model is more complex than just having the tank have some hit points.
Yeah. Oh, he already left. Yep. Cool. Okay, AK already left. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think that Green Emperor. I wonder if he was legit. I don't know. It's hard with that number of players. It'd be a lot easier to have a sudden death because, well, it just is. It's hard to hold on. You have fewer players alive to call the flag.
And at this time, there won't be any more players coming on.